Week 2 of the 10th season of the GBA is finally upon us, and Playmore has taken on the Copenhagen Sawsbucks. I, of course, am John, or PM7, and I'm joined by my lovely co-owner, Tyler. And Tyler, this is a pretty big week for the organization.
It is, John. Coming into the season, I was really banking on major success to the point that I went out of my way to buy a new house. And as you can see after that first week, not only is this house completely empty, I don't even have my bow tie anymore. We really need to right the ship here because, like I said, I'm all in on this season from Play More, but I could really use some stuff for this room and maybe a new bow tie as well.
It's important we get the win. I didn't go all in. I did not push all the chips in the middle of the table, but I'm in the same outfit I was in last week. I was hoping for a little bump in the salary to go get a new suit, but it all starts here. Our coach last week made a bold move, shaving mid-video, basically guaranteeing a victory this week. I'm not sure what the shaving will do with the actual battling, but looking at this matchup, this is a really interesting one, Tyler. Our opponent loves Hisuian form Pokemon, and there's some pretty interesting threats on the other side, especially Iron Bundle. It's the fastest Pokemon on either team. It's something that's immediately going to threaten our best Pokemon in Roaring Moon, threaten most of our Pokemon with super effective damage, but not only that, we have Iron Bundle, Landorus T, Hydreigon, Hisuian, Zorark, Talonflame. All of those Pokemon have access to U-turn, and they can really maneuver into the right spots, and that could be a problem for us. I'm very, very worried about the offense, especially after last week's battle. But what are you seeing in this matchup, Tyler?
There's also one threat I am worried about offensively that you didn't even mention there. It is one of those Hisuian forms in Hisuian Lilligant, which is maybe not something you always think about, but if we come in with the Sun team, we'll see if Torkoal gets some run in this matchup. It has Chlorophyll to speed it up in the Sun, and it also has Victory Dance, which raises the attack, the defense, and the speed. At that point, you're looking at a low-key potential sweeper on the other side that you don't even think of as one of the top maybe 2 or 3 threats on this team. They've got a lot of offensive options, John, and in that sense reminds me a lot of what we saw last week. We'll see, though, if the 6 they choose are as an aggressive of a lineup as we saw in last week's match.
And there's a very real chance we see some frustrating defensive options. I mean, Landorus T is always a nuisance. You have Slowbro there, the Diancie, and that Hisuian Avalugg, which is one of the Terra users. That is an interesting thing to note. I wasn't as on top of the Terra users last week. I've read up this week, but enough from us. Let's toss it over to the coach and see what team he's bringing and why.
Yeah. Oh, camera. What's up? John, Tyler, what's good? Team builder, I can do that. You guys want to know what sets we're bringing for these All-Stars for Play More Esports Week 2? I got that. Our captain, Roaring Moon. Sweeper this week, no doubt. Dragon Dance with Terra Blast, because we're bringing Terra Fire to drop some nukes in this Sun. That's right, we're getting the Photosynthesis boost as well with the attack. Then we're rocking Iron Head for that annoying Diancie, which typically on paper walls us. Iron Head, after +1, should be blowing back any defensive Diancie unless it's Babiri Berry. And then we have Scale Shot, so that way if we only get one Dragon Dance, we're still going to be getting the speed boost from Scale Shot. So Hisuian Lilligant in Sun with Chlorophyll never outspeeds us, and we're able to sweep from there. Then we have our Sunsetter Torkoal, very basic set, nothing but getting up the Sun with us, but a little bit of Flare Blitz just so Hydreigon never gets a substitute on us. Nice and easy. Hisuian Samurott, very good, getting up the hazards, all he needs to do, break like that. Assault Vest with max special defense to get the most out of it, so that way we can wall Hydreigon and Hisuian Zorark, while also eating freeze dries from Iron Bundle. And the Air Slash coverage for the mixed attack, you might be wondering why. Hisuian Avalugg is one of their Terra captains, can be fighting Ceaseless Edge into an Air Slash on Terra fighting. Avalugg blows it back, kills it, because Air Slash is boosted by Sharpness. Next up, we have Kilowattrel with Wind Power, sets up its own Tailwind, gets boosted Electric type move because of that with its ability, and we have the Speed Boost to outspeed Iron Bundle now. Can be a sweeper in the late game if we weaken the Lando T or the Diancie, because we have Weather Ball from Magnezone too. We fear nothing with that bird. And then we have Mismagius. This is just to be very annoying early on, nothing but status, just to spam across their team and they do nothing about it. We're even a little bit defensive to help us versus Lando T, because Lando T did lose knockoff this generation, which very much hurts it. And then lastly, we have the mascot himself, Bubby Appleton the GOAT, with the soul vest as well and thick fat, so we eat ice beams from Iron Bundle. I'm talking about only 50%, and then we get a whole bunch back from Giga Drain. Apple Acid is so spammable. Even if Talonflame comes in, Apple Acid lowers the special defense, we kill it with Draco Meteor after, and live the Brave Bird. So that's cool to me. Earthquake for the Magnet Zone, they got no switch-ins. Appleton's going to town. Our team gonna pick up this dub this week. I know it. Now I'm gonna go finish my hair before the match.
Really exciting game plan this week, but it's time to find out what was actually brought from our opponents. And ooh, not many surprises at all. Maybe one, Tyler. It looks like once again the Pokemon you talked about was not brought, which is interesting.
2 weeks in a row, I have spotlighted a Pokemon, and it's not here.
But what I do see is the first 4 Pokemon could have access to U-Turn. 3 of them most likely very offensive. Landorus T. I mean, it might not be fully defensive. That Pokemon can do a lot of things, can be scary offensively. You do not want to sleep on it. But I see those first 4 offensive, or at least, you know, decently offensive with Landorus, Diancie, and the Hisuian Avlug. They're definitely going to be the defensive Pokemon on the team. I really, really like that Miss Magia Spring a lot more now, as that will be able to spin block in a pretty big way. And I see the vision for just getting status all over the team, and that is actually the lead. Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Nothing out there. I don't think that is going to have any answer for, like you said, just spreading status conditions everywhere. I think you can burn everything out there. You can paralyze almost everything out there. The Diancie makes sense, John. Looking back now, is a very, very good counter for Roaring Moon. But I am a little shocked not to see that Sun direct counter, or at least threat on the other side in Hisuian Lilligant.
Well, also, it is worth bringing up that our Roaring Moon does have Iron Head for the Diancie. Now, there's always a chance that Diancie has a berry to really mitigate that Iron Head. But if we get enough Dragon Dances up, I don't have the damage calc in front of me, but I don't think a Diancie is living that pretty easily. But that is an Iron Bundle to start, and this is a physically defensive Mismagius. I know it has decent special defense, so I wonder if Ben stays in, goes for the Will-O-Wisp, maybe expecting a U-turn here, or goes for the Thunder Wave, expecting Oswald to go for that attack and slow it down. The switch probably makes more sense, but this could be a really, really big play turn 1 if you get status on the right Pokemon.
Because 2 things happen here. They either stay in and click a move, assuming that they're Zorark, or they go into Land OT, because you don't risk Unchoice Scarf yet.
I'm with you. I agree that you could go for the status here. The safe play is probably to go ahead and switch and bank on the U-turn. You can go into Hisuian Samurott and take no damage. I'm fascinated to see what actually plays out here, because this is a pivotal first turn.
When this is a prediction here of the immediate, probably like Ice Beam or Water move, and it's actually a Shadow Ball, okay. And that's why he's the head coach, and we're up in the booth.
That's a great play. We were anticipating a U-turn, and if that happened, worst case scenario there on that switch.
I knew U-turn was an option. I was not aware that Oswald over there was carrying Shadow Ball. Makes a lot of sense to have that as coverage if it's an option, and it really puts us in a wonderful spot, as there's a good chance that Oswald's got to get out of there, and we're going to get a layer of spikes up more likely than not, which is really, really incredible. The Diancie comes out, and I feel pretty good about this. I mean, Diancie's not a Pokemon that really worries me too much. Now, it could get Stealth Rocks up, but I think it allows us to really bring in a Pokemon to threaten his team, as Diancie's not really the most offensive Pokemon in the world.
No, it's not, and regardless of the damage there, we've got spikes up for free, John, after 2 turns?
Pretty good. Not
much to complain about here, and very minimal damage taken to do so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really, really love this Hisuian Samurott set this week. I'm going to fall in love with this Pokemon week after week. I already know it. If I was battling right now, this is a Pokemon I'd want on my team, and right here is a big reason for it. Does Diancie really want to take an Aqua Cutter? We got Assault Vest. We're not worried about it. That's a big crit. Turn 3, Diancie is down. Roaring Moon is having a party in its
Oh my
Pokeball.
goodness.
Tyler.
That's the mustache effect right there.
Wow.
Look at
Wow. That is my coach. Stone Cold. There's no reaction. He's not shocked in the slightest.
It's almost like he expected it.
Wow. And here's Oswald. We have the Assault Vest Samurott. I don't know if I truly understand this. There's not a secret Terra I'm missing here. I'm sure there's some coverage moves that I'm not really thinking about, but yeah, you stay in here.
Yeah.
We're gonna take any move.
We can go on the offensive here.
This is a really interesting play as Iron Bundle is the scariest Pokemon against our team. There's the U-turn trying to force the switch. And we're gonna get free damage on something with that Spikes damage. That stuff adds up, man.
And even if it happens to be the Hisuian Zorark, you're going to get the Spikes damage here to reveal what Pokemon it is transformed into. So even if that's what switches in and your move doesn't hit because it's a fighting type move, you're still finding out what Pokemon that Hisuian Zorark was disguised as. So I see this as a win-win, John, regardless of what happens.
I think I'm just realizing that turn one, it was a Hisuian Zorark. And
That
I
makes
was
more
tricked.
sense.
Yes, I was tricked, and our coach was not. The audience was not. But you know what? That is a lot of damage. Oh my God. This is, I mean, prediction after prediction after prediction. The Beneral is leading us in week 2 to where I want to go. It looks like we're getting new outfits, buddy. This is incredible.
I know we're supposed to be watching the battle, but I'm currently on Amazon shopping for new bow ties.
Man, okay. Now this is an unbelievably bad start to the battle for our opponent. I really like the mind games they tried to start with the Hisuian Zorark. You know, that and Iron Bundle together really threatening against our team. But this Hisuian Samurott set has just been such a problem. Incredible coverage, the right EVs to just have the bulk it needs, the perfect predictions. I mean, both defensive Pokemon are almost gone, and we have multiple Pokemon ready to sweep this team. This could be a quick battle. We do see the early Terra.
Did he make a genius prediction banking on the fighting Terra? Oh my gosh, look at him, he knows it. That's our coach.
Whoa!
Oh my God.
Wow. Wow. The air slash tech. This is crazy. This is crazy.
That's what the prep's for, baby.
Tyler, it's early in your career for commentating Pokemon Draft League, but how are you feeling?
You can't see it, John, but I'm just bowing down over and over again. I've been doing Vince Carter. It's over. I'm doing everything over here.
Oh my God, the tech on this. Not only predicting the Avalugg to come in, but just knowing the only chance Avalugg had to stand in here was the Terra, the Air Slash to guarantee it going down. I think it has in the 30s a special defense. But here is an interesting spot. Do you switch out the Samurott or do you let this thing go down? It's already done so much. Do you just try to get a read and see, is this Iron Bundle? Is it the Hisuian Zorark? I assume our fearless coach already knows. But wow, I'm gonna be honest, I'm riding high. My brain is, it's short-circuiting a little bit. What a start to the battle, Tyler.
I was just so happy there to see the emotion from our coach, who we can tell, John, from week 1 to week 2, night and day.
Absolutely night and day. That's what you love to see. I love him staying in with the Hisuian Samurott. It's Assault Vest for a reason. Obviously, Freeze Dry is gonna do a lot of damage, but as we saw there, it's living that. I didn't think there was a move from either Iron Bundle or the Hisuian Zorark that could take it out in one hit. And if it did, hey, kudos to that Pokemon. Now we have Death Fodder if we do want to save this thing, but also 2 layers of spikes up, which is really going to be a problem for both of these Pokemon U-turning in and out. There are 2 Pokemon that aren't worried about it, but I really like this play. Let's regain some momentum and really put the opponent on the back foot. What are you expecting to see come in here, Tyler?
I think we've got a few options here. I obviously am biased towards my Kilowattrel because I was very high on that during the preseason, but I'm really hoping for Bubby. Thick, fat Bubby more than anything else here.
This is something that the coach was talking to us before the game. A lot of excitement.
This is our moment.
Against Iron Bundle. This was something that we wanted to see happen. It was built to happen. It was meant to happen. The opponent's not going to see this coming, right? There's no way.
There's no way. I mean, we were excited. Wow. We talked about Bubby for the draft, and they understand the threat.
You know, I respect that. See, that's a good coach on the other side of the field. They get the threat in Bubby. They bring in Skywalker, but Apple Acid, you're not excited to take another one of those, and you didn't want to take the first one.
That did a ton of damage.
Wow. It certainly can't take a second because that special defense went down with Apple Acid. The question now is, can Bubby live a hit? And I think the answer is a resounding yes, Tyler. I can't think of any tech this Landorus T could have to take out Bubby in one hit.
I think that's what Ben is checking right now, and I don't think he's finding anything either. I think you go aggressive and go for the kill here.
Oh, I do like the Giga Drain. Get some HP back. I mean, Bubby is a nightmare for our opponent right now. Wow.
We said after the draft that there would be at least one match that Bubby stood tall after, and this might be the one.
That was the tech for Bubby with the crits!
That did nothing!
Bubby the go! Eat him up! Oh my god! Wow. This is why you play Draft League, Tyler. Every single set, all the techs are working, and even when the opponent is making the right plays with the right tech, it doesn't matter. With the crit, Tyler, with the crit, Bubby didn't care.
You know, so far, John, I know the battle's not over yet, and I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
The week-to-week turnaround for Play More. I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling really good. This is really, really inspiring because it's not just the commanding lead we have right now in the battle. It's just the preparation working out so well. And the big offensive threats haven't been sent out. You know, Roaring Moon had the tech to really sweep this team, and we've broken through. I mean, Roaring Moon is ready to get a win. Kilowattrel, something you're excited to really see out there, is ready to possibly get a win. Now, we can't let the reverse sweep happen. It's happened to me before. That is for sure. Wait, that's Hisui and Zorark, right? It just took damage. I'm not crazy. Hydreigon, it has Levitate, yes?
Yes, and I think that is what Ben just noticed as well.
So, I am going to pat myself on the back because I was a big dum-dum earlier. So I'm not the biggest dum-dum today, but that's... Okay, what is Hisui and Zorark going to throw Bubby's way? What is Bubby worried about? I know it's going to have some sort of coverage, but do you have any thoughts on that, Tyler?
Oh, it's Sludge Bomb again.
It doesn't matter.
He's unstoppable.
A second crit
too.
Oh, Bubby! Oh, that crit is so deflating. Bubby deserved a second kill. Okay, you know.
Bubby, you've done all you need to do.
You have.
Do we keep Bubby alive here?
You know, this is a really, really, really pivotal point in the battle. You know, the crits are part of the game. I'm not here to complain about them, but it does give them an opening. I don't know what on their team was going to take on Bubby. They still have the Zorark to play around with. No, actually, Spikes. So they are going to get another kill here.
We might live this.
Oh, God!
No, they're not!
Oh! Oh, my God, Bubby!
Call an ambulance, but not for Bubby!
Oh, I was trying to, I wanted to make sure we weren't getting too overconfident because you never know. The battle's not over till the battle's over, Tyler. But with Spikes up, that Hisuian Zorark was as good as gone. There was no reason to switch. Bubby, the legend, And at this point, Bubby's not switching. It's putting pressure on to make sure no funny business is thrown our way. Wow.
You done good, kid. You
Wow.
done good.
Wait a second. If this thing is choice locked in, we have Terra, Fire, Roaring Moon. And if Terra, Fire, Roaring Moon can go for the Dragon Dance on that ice move, it will then be able to most likely outspeed and take this thing down, but this makes more sense.
That to test here, and if nothing else, you set up the sun for that scenario.
Well, also weakening the water move if it is not choiced in, which I don't think it is choiced in most likely. This does possibly invite in the Hydreigon to maybe set up a sub, but Ben has talked about that Flare Blitz tech is there to really ensure that no substitutes will be able to be set up on the Torkoal. This is our opponent's best chance to come back and win. I feel pretty confident with Scale Shot on the Roaring Moon that we're not going to see anything too crazy here, but you never know, and that's some good damage. That'll break us up.
Damage.
Okay.
Let's see if they try to set up the sub like you talked about. I feel like, John, that might be the last option.
Yeah.
Really got them in a bad spot.
Earth Power. Okay.
Go straight to the offensive.
Yep. Okay. But this is pretty perfect because it's going to allow Ben to immediately bring in whoever he wants to finish this battle off. Most likely,
I think it's Roaring Moon time, yeah.
Now, it is going to be interesting here. No, it's not, because he'll kill it. He's not going to Dragon Dance. We've seen the Earth Power, so you can't turn into Terra Fire. I feel like you just take this thing out, and then ideally you can live a hit from Iron Bundle, unless this is Scarfed Hydreigon. So, few things to consider. It would be really embarrassing to lose at this point, but it is very possible. We don't think about things. Attack is heightened. I am nervous, Tyler. This is the biggest play of the battle.
Oh, he is going to Terra. Let's see if he just goes for Terra Blast with the sun to ensure that it hits. Or do you just go for the Scale Shot?
Well, if you can live the Earth Power no matter what, you can Dragon Dance, and the game is absolutely won at that point.
100% over.
As long as it's not Earth Power crit. We've seen a lot of crits today. Helped us and hurt us, so you got to worry about that, of course. Okay. Uh-huh. There's a Dragon Dance. So it was not Choice Scarf. Could be Choice Specs now. We'll see. There's the Earth Power. Oh! That is not a problem.
Did nothing.
I don't know if a crit would have killed, but it doesn't matter because at this point, that's all she wrote, Tyler.
The crowd knows. They're waving goodbye. They're waving goodbye.
Wow. That was an exhilarating battle, Tyler. I've been in a lot of exciting situations in draft, and I gotta say, being on this side, it's a pretty special feeling to stare at our very first victory as an organization. And really looking at this battle, you know, this was a dominant battle, but it really feels like it was preparation and really good play. I don't think there were many, if any, misplays on the opponent. Just a lot of really good predictions from our coach. Just some incredible tech, incredible plays. I'm really, really impressed with what Ben showed today.
The air slash on the Avalugg Terra, I think just set the tone completely. And obviously before that, we were even at an advantage.
Yes. Appleton, dude. Holy smokes. Let's go. GG's to Frosted. GG's.
The week-to-week turnaround, John, I don't know if we attribute it to the mustache. I don't know if we attribute it just to the second week of the season and more preparation. Outstanding week 2 for Playmore. I personally could not be happier.
Wow. I gotta be honest, Tyler. I was so wrapped up in what was going on. I feel like I didn't know what was up and what was down at points, but boy, was this a fun ride, and I can't wait to talk to our coach. So Let's see what he has to say after this big week 2 win.
This week, I can genuinely say we are beyond happy to be joined by the head coach of Play More, the Beneral. Ben, I referenced this in the battle a couple of times. I don't know what the big difference was, and I'll have you answer it. From week 1 to week 2, would you attribute the turnaround more to the new facial hair look or preparation, taking time to scout, stuff like that? What would you say was the biggest factor in the week-to-week turnaround?
Well, Tyler, I can't even joke around by saying it's the mustache, because the fact is, I had less preparation this week as a whole, truthfully. Our wonderful assistant coach, John Jr., just had a newborn welcomed into the world, so congratulations to him. He wasn't around to help with any team building or mocks or anything like that, so it was just basically all me this week. I went in just with whatever knowledge I had, and everything that I felt comfortable doing. And luckily it paid off, so shout outs to the mustache, 100%, that's what it was. But definitely just shook off the rust a little bit, had a little bit more confidence going into the battle, even though I always kind of have confidence, it's understandable. But yeah, I felt a lot more comfortable this time around, and I like to devote it all to my mustache.
The confidence makes a lot of sense with the incredible predictions, but some of the sets you brought this week were just incredible, and I have to ask, what was the thought around Appleton? I mean, that Pokemon became the MVP of this match. It feels like it was the last thing you came up with. What were your thoughts with that? And did you think it would have the role it had in this match?
First off, it definitely did. I wouldn't say a lot more, because I expected to at least get a kill. But it did more than I expected. The fact that it ate 2 critical hit sludge bombs and then a shadow ball, sure, a Giga Drain in between, but like, that man ate. It didn't care if crits were going its way. So when I looked at the matchup the second time around, because I built initially, felt a little comfortable, I wanted to revisit it just because I wasn't getting those mocks or anything. I was like, they don't have a good switch into Appleton. Like, even Talonflame, obviously quad resist the grass type moves. If it comes in on Apple Acid, it dies to Draco Meteor after, and I live a Brave Bird unless they're offensive. So I'm like, this is kind of free. And if I'm Assault Vest Thick Fat, I take half from an Iron Bundle with Freeze Dry. Half! That is nothing. I eat a Draco from Hydreigon. It just felt like such a good way to be at least a 1-for-1 Pokemon, because the goal with this team was to literally just have like Mismagius and Hisuian Samurott and Appleton break early and be really annoying, and then have to clean up with Roaring Moon or Kilowattrel in the endgame with a little Torkoal support, basically. And whew, Appleton did what he needed to do. Well, let's just say that. That is Bubby, our mascot, the GOAT right there popping off. Might not be a frog, but he's a frog in our hearts today and forever. No doubt about that.
Let's be honest here. Bubby's got that frog in him, if nothing else.
He's got that frog in him.
He does. And I think we can call him an honorary frog. John, can we agree to call Bubby an honorary frog?
After what I just saw, absolutely.
To get back to the interview, to go back to the last thing you were talking about there, Ben, in terms of the role that you would envision for basically everybody but Roaring Moon, for them to end up having so much success offensively to where Roaring Moon could just come up and clean this thing up at the end. How encouraging was it to have a battle where it's stress-free? Roaring Moon doesn't have to come in, reverse sweep, doesn't have to do anything to win you the battle. It's just there to clean things up, and you can rely more on support Pokemon to do more of the heavy lifting here. And again, have it be a little bit more of a stress-free win too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it felt great just for everything to go according to plan. I mean, I felt like it was just a great battle for me overall. Felt very in control. Those crits with the sludge bombs didn't even come to matter or anything like that, so there wasn't any like real hacks. In regards to like the Aqua Cutter crit on Diancie, 1, increased crit chance. 2, it was a roll anyways to kill. If I was Razor Shell, it was 100%. So considering that more in the future. But I mean, everything worked out perfectly. I was just calling it at the beginning of the game. Every call was correct to where I was able to keep up that momentum and have everything do what it needed to do. I mean, I led Mismagius, but it didn't see the battle again after that. And Kilowattrel never hit the field, period. So the fact that I really only used 4 Pokemon that game and 1 felt amazing.
I only have one more question for you. After a week like this where everything went your way, from the team building to the flawless predicting, How can you build on that going into the next week? Obviously, you're not always going to have the perfect tech, and you're not always going to have the perfect predictions, but is there something from this little confidence that you can lean on into that third battle as we try to go up in the rankings and, you know, have a positive win-loss record?
Yeah, of course. Well, I will say we are facing Lars next week, who is a GBA GOAT himself, so that'll be an amazing battle. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I mean, no season you're ever going to stay at your peak. It's going to have ups and downs. For me, it's like, you know, a very like roller coaster, but all the way up like near the 100 percentile mark, instead of dipping far too down low. So I don't really worry about it changing too much. It's just the fact of I just need to find what's going to work best and stick to my game plan. If you remember, I didn't find a way to stick to my game plan in week 1, and that's what costed me. As long as I take the right time to prep, find that game plan, don't stress about it, and stick with it going into the battle, I'm comfortable in most matchups that I'm doing, and I feel like I can just keep up the momentum from there. Could be a really tough opponent next week. Not saying Frosted was. Frosted was a great match, an absolute blast. Her and I talked a lot afterwards about what a great and fun match it was overall, because she had a lot of fun with her Asumi and Zorark, like disguising as potentially 2 other Pokemon on her team, which was sick. But I'm just super excited to keep it going. I really don't see it's going to drop that bad from here on out. Now that I got that momentum, got that rust off, I'm ready to keep it going and get those dubs in.
Last question from me, Ben. When are we going to see Bubby again?
Bubby will let you know when he's good come again. Whenever you see the Bubby signal, just know he's on his way.